Hello and welcome. Tonight, the Department of State Services, the DSS, arrests NLC President Joe Ajaero as Labour condemns actions, issues government a 12 midnight deadline to release its detained leader. The Socio-Economic Right and Accountability Project, SERAP, accuses the DSS of raiding its office. SERAP asked President Bola Tinubu to immediately direct the security outfit to end the intimidation and harassment against its organization. And the Labour Party LP faction led by Julius Abure says all its tickets ahead of its 2027 general elections are open to all qualified Nigerians to contest for.
And on business news tonight, the Center for Promotion of Private Enterprise questions NNPCL's delay in lifting petrol from Dangote refinery.
On sports news tonight, Super Eagles interim coach Augustine Eguavoin says the team must keep their winning mentality in Tuesday's 2025 African Cup of Nations qualifier against Rwanda in Kigali.
And from the nation's capital, ahead of the Edo State governorship election, the PDP and the APC intensify their campaigns as both parties continue to woo voters.
And in international news from London, Vietnam's Deputy Prime Minister says a busy bridge in the north of the country has collapsed in the wake of Super Typhoon Yagi, plunging 10 cars and 2 scooters into the Red River.
The Nigeria Labour Congress NLC is demanding the immediate and unconditional release of its president, Joe Ajaero, before 12 midnight, September the 10th. Now, the National Administrative Council of the NLC made this demand and others after an emergency meeting today to address the arrest and detention of Comrade Ajaero by the Department of State Services, the DSS, earlier today. He was arrested and detained at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja while en route to the United Kingdom, where he was scheduled to attend and address the Congress of the Trade Union Congress of Britain, representing Nigerian workers in critical discussions on workers' rights and social justice. A communique issued by the NLC Deputy President, Comrade Adionjo Adewale, after the meeting says that Labour is concerned that Comrade Ajaero was lawfully discharging his duties to represent Nigerian workers and had not committed any offence warranting such action, and that his detention is an affront to the rights of workers and the democratic principles of freedom of movement and expression. The NLC reiterates that Joe Ajaero is not a fugitive or a criminal, and that his detention is an act of intimidation aimed at silencing dissent and stifling the labor movement's voice in Nigeria. The NLC says that it has placed all its affiliates, state councils, civil society allies, and the Nigerian populace on red alert, adding that the detention of Comrade Ajaero is an attack not just on the NLC leadership, but on the right of all workers and citizens to organize, protest, and express themselves freely. Labour says it will go on to summon an emergency meeting of the National Executive Council by 9 a.m. tomorrow, September the 10th, to take compelling action to engage what it describes as the current forces of retrogression. Hours before the meeting and subsequent communique, the head of information of the NLC, Mr. Benson Upa, had confirmed that Mr. Ajaero was arrested at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja this morning on his way to the UK for an official assignment.
I want to tell you that the security agencies are coordinated by the Office of the National Security Advisor. That is the present practice. So it amounts to sixpence and CC to say it is not the it is not the DSS that arrested him. It is the Office of National Security Advisor. I am not aware that ONSA has a squad independently of the other arms, NIA, DIA, DSS, I mean, you name them, and others. So I'm not aware that that ONSA has a unique squad. If they do have, that would be quite new to me. So all we know is that Comrade Joe Ajaero has been arrested and is being held against his wish by the Nigerian state. That is what I know. It is in the character of a jittery state to embark on this kind of journey, harassing people, intimidating people, in order to have the clear path of way to continue with their obnoxious policies. But I want to tell you that NLC will not be swayed. NLC will not be distracted. But more importantly, the Nigerian spirit that is inherent in all of us, we Nigerians. We Nigerians are not going to be broken.
Staying with the NLC President's arrest, the Trade Union Congress says that it received with grave concern the news of the arrest of Comrade Joe Ajero. A statement issued by the TUC President Festus Osifo says that the action represents a clear violation of the rights to freedom of association and expression, fundamental pillars in any democratic society. While condemning the arrest, the TUC is asking for its immediate and unconditional release, stating that it sets a dangerous precedent that threatens not only the leadership of the Nigerian labor movement, but also the voices of millions of working-class Nigerians who rely on unions to represent and protect their interests. The TUC adds that it is imperative that the government respects the rule of law, democratic norms, and the legitimate rights of workers and their representatives. In the meantime, the rights group Amnesty International has condemned the arrest of the NLC President Joe Ajero, describing it as unlawful and asking that the labor leader be immediately and unconditionally released. A statement issued by Issa Sanusi, Amnesty International Nigeria Director, says that the arrest of Joe Ajero shows an escalating crackdown on human rights and restrictions on civic space by the government of President Bola Tinubu. Part of the statement reads, quote, President Bola Tinubu's government persistently attacks and undermines the operations of the NLC through fabricated allegations, raids on NLC headquarters, and other forms of harassment and intimidation. This growing culture of impunity and disdain for workers' rights to organize and seek better welfare must stop. President Tinubu is setting a new record of utter disregard for the rule of law. End quote. Amnesty International adds that it has observed in the last 1 year the increasing crackdown by the Nigerian authorities on the labor, union and civic space. The rights group also insists that the authorities continue to weaponize the police and the DSS to repress the human rights of Nigerians. Meanwhile, operatives of the DSS, that's the Department of State Services, have stormed the office of the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, in Abuja. The Deputy Director of SERAP, Mr. Kolawole Uluwadare, confirmed the situation to Channels Television, stating that no formal invitation was given to them before and after the raid, and they have no idea why the operatives raided their office. SERAP had recently given a 48-hour ultimatum to President Bola Tinubu, asking him to instruct the NNPC Limited to reverse the hike in the price of petrol or face litigation.
They identified two individuals, a woman and a man, who came to our Abuja office today and identified themselves as from the DSS, Department of State Security, and they said they were looking for the director or the deputy director. And they said, when they were, of course, asked by our staff who were on ground why they were there, they didn't give any particular reason. So they stepped out. The lady stepped out, made some phone calls, and then came back in and also asked if there's any other person that they can speak with, because I wasn't around. So they said no, but that if they would drop their details or even send an official invitation, then we'll be able to honor them. So my colleagues checked and they saw that they came out in two trucks. One of them was an Toyota Hilux truck, and that after they left the office, they stayed outside for a while. But after a while, they drove off. And all this happened, I think, between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. This morning. Presently, we do not know whether the operatives, any of the operatives are still within the vicinity, but the vehicles have driven off. This is simply one of those incidents that show clearly, beyond a doubt now, that there is a severe constriction of the civic space. Not necessarily because of anything specifically we've said or done, but basically because of transparency and accountability. I cannot recall any specific instance that might have caused this, but it would not be unrelated with SERAP's consistent advocacy for transparency, accountability, and good governance. This is the first time, and really this is a bad thing under this present administration, which is supposed to be democratic. This is the first time. If they really have any grounds for have a conversation with SERAP, I will expect some formal invitations, which of course we will honor if they do that, and then perhaps we can know why. And then next steps. It wouldn't be surprising if it does, but really that would be surprising. It's a call for the president to instruct the NNPC to do what the law says it would do. And like in keeping with what we do, if the president does not heed that call, we would have gone to court. But I really would be surprised if that is why this is happening. That's totally unacceptable. That's really wrong. With what I know about the Nigerian security apparatus, including DSS, if they need me or any official of SERAP, I'm sure they know how to do that. A formal invitation will be honored. So I really do not know whether they are looking for me or they just want to intimidate SERAP in their harassment of the physical siege on our office, really. Because if they really need me, I'm sure if they send any formal invitation, we will honor that.
The Cross-River State government is seeking partnership with the Nigerian Navy to establish a forward operating base in the Bakassi area to enhance security and protect the proposed deep-sea port. Governor Basi Otu of Cross-River State made the appeal during a meeting with the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, where he requested the Navy's support to establish the base to address security concerns in the area.
We have 5 islands that made up Bakassi. 2 were officially handed over to Kenya. And we still have 3 that are within the purview of Cross-River State and Nigeria. We've been conducting elections there. We're doing everything. It's our people that are living there. If we go according to the Green Tree Agreement, you'll see on the part of the Cameroon, the naval presence is very pronounced. Not just the Navy, they have the military. They have all presence there. But on the part of Nigeria, we've been a bit quiet. And my coming here today is to alert the chief, the naval chief, that there's need for the Navy to now begin to show its presence in that particular location.
The chief or the naval chief. In his remarks, the naval chief assured the governor that the Navy is ready to reappraise its mission and establish strategic bases to protect the nation's sovereignty and defense.
In line with your request, we are going to reappraise our operation to see strategic areas where we need to establish FOBs. Although we have strategic naval bases which are filtering, but we need forward operating bases, particularly towards the Bakassi area, to be able to reduce time on task for our operations. So your request is exactly what we have been thinking about, and this is also in our strategic plan, our 2021 to 2030 strategic plan.
The National Executive Committee of the Labour Party says it has reviewed the decision of the National Convention to reserve its presidential and governorship tickets for Mr. Peter Obi and Governor Alex Otti of Abia State. The national chairman of the party, Mr. Julius Abure, stated this during a meeting of the National Executive Committee of the party in Abuja. Mr. Abure condemned the outcome of the stakeholders meeting in Umuahia, the Abia State capital, where Governor Otti, alongside some members of the party, constituted a caretaker committee.
The national chairman of the Labour Party, Mr. Julius Abure, is presiding over the National Executive Committee meeting to discuss some of the recent developments in the party. This meeting is attended by some national officers, state chairmen, and supporters of the party. The meeting is coming after the conclusion of the party's stakeholders meeting, convened by Governor Alex Otti of Abia State.
I speak of course, of the illegal gathering that took place in Abia State, an attempt to create a rift within our party, led by no other than His Excellency Peter Obi and the governor of Abia State, Alex Otti. This meeting held without the authority or consent of the National Executive Council and sought to install a so-called new leadership. Let me be clear. This action was not just illegal, it was a betrayal of everything.
The national chairman of the party used the opportunity to clear the allegations of financial mismanagement against him by some members of the party.
Let me make it categorically clear that campaign funds were disbursed, administered in the southern states by the leadership of the campaign council. The party was never involved in the distribution of those resources. Our interest was to see how we can produce a president for the party. However it was done, we didn't bother ourselves.
The meeting ended with a communique where the committee maintains that there is no vacuum in the leadership of the party.
NEC in session also reviewed the decision of the National Convention to reserve its presidential and governorship ticket to Peter Gregory Obi and Alex Oti, respectively. Consequently, all tickets of the party from presidency to the House of Assemblies are open to all qualified Nigerians.
The party also approved the conduct of state, local government and world congresses as will be scheduled by the National Working Committee in line with the party's constitution.
In part two, after the break, ahead of the Edo State governorship elections, the People's Democratic Party and the All Progressives Congress intensify their campaigns as both parties continue to woo voters. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. The Department of State Services, the DSS, arrests NLC President Joe Ajero as Labour condemns action, issues government a 12 midnight deadline to release its detained leader. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, accuses the DSS of raiding its office. SERAP asked President Bola Tinubu to immediately direct the security outfit to end the intimidation and harassment against its organization. The Labour Party faction led by Julius Abure says all its tickets ahead of the 2027 general election are open to all qualified Nigerians to contest for. And Vietnam's Deputy Prime Minister says a busy bridge in the north has collapsed in the wake of Super Typhoon Yagi, plunging 10 cars and 2 scooters into the Red River. Gunmen suspected to be bandits have kidnapped 2 healthcare workers during an attack on a primary health center in Kuyalo Ward, located in the eastern part of Beningwari local government area of Kaduna State. The bandits were said to have stormed the village in the early hours of today, during which they attacked the primary health center and took away the 2 community extension workers. A community leader, Ishaya Musa, told Channels Television that the bandits had planned to attack a nearby government primary school, and when they could not find any pupil in the school, they then attacked the healthcare facility and kidnapped the 2 community extension healthcare workers. The source said that some patients on admission were feared to have been abducted by the bandits during the attack. Confirming the incident, the spokesman of the Kaduna State Police Command, ASP Mansir Hassan, said the bandits succeeded in the operation due to lack of GSM network coverage in the Beningwari general area, which consequently delayed the response time by security operatives. So let's head to the nation's capital now, where Terry Ikumi is standing by to give us the very latest from Abuja studios. Over to you, Terry.
Well, thank you very much, Ayo. Now, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, resumed its campaign tour of the 18 local government areas of Edo State with rallies at 2 of the biggest council areas, Ego and Ikpoboka. The party leaders who addressed supporters at the 2 venues urged them to ensure that their votes count on election day.
Glory of the Lord come down.
The PDP governorship campaign roadshow returns to Igor local government area of Edo State. Beyond the singing and dancing, there are also some solemn moments.
I know what I did. I say for governor.
From Igor, party moves to Ikpoboka local government area. Clearly, the largest gathering so far.
Let's go with me. One time.
A crowd that the party believes should translate into votes.
Charging the Ikpoboka local government to give the People's Democratic Party 100,000 solid votes.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Governor Godwin Obaseki says he will be handing over to a tested and trusted man if the PDP wins the governorship election.
The thing why we never do, like plenty pass. That's why we need people when Sabi may they take over, may they continue. And the person when I know, when I don't work with the way I know say Sabi, the people when I know say Sabi, are these 2 people.
While making promises of developmental projects for the people. The PDP governorship candidate and his running mate also insist that the electorate must be ready to defend their votes on election day.
You know, say, when country won't develop, or when state won't develop, it goes start with agriculture revolution, then manufacturing revolution. To manufacture, the people within the community must accept those who come manufacture.
Let them hear us. They are not going to leave their head at home on that day and come and kill other people's children. They cannot keep their children outside the country and come here to keep other people's children. But the power of the people is supreme.
With less than 2 weeks to go to the September 21st governorship election in Edo State, the PDP has covered all but one local government area so far, Oedo, with the final rally holding in Benin City, the Edo State capital.
Meanwhile, the All Progressives Congress in Edo State on Monday resumed its tour of wards in local government areas under Edo North Senatorial District, with campaign rallies in 4 locations in Etako West local government area. The party leaders speaking to supporters in Auchi, Iakpi, Agbede and Jetu towns assured them that the APC governorship candidate, Monday Okpebolo, has captured their needs in his manifesto, as he has always been in touch with the grassroots and understands the areas in dire need of development.
APC party faithful and supporters from Ward 9, 10, 11 and 12 are assembled on the school ground in Jetu, Esako West local government area of Edo State for the party's campaign rally in the area ahead of the governorship election scheduled for 21st September. Leaders of the party say the APC deserves a chance to serve the people as it had provided good governance in the past.
Bigbo, Apana, Ayogena, and so many of them, a lot of solar lights have been installed. I'm sure you have seen them. You go to Isha, the same thing that is going on. In Irua, in Nekpoma, in Ubiaja, a lot of them are going on. In Benin, the same thing. I can assure you that with Monday, voting for Monday, all of that is more, we will get them.
The reinstated deputy governor of the state and some other leaders of the party, including former governor of Edo State, Adam Sushomole, are sons of this land. Their messages to their people is clear. They say a vote for the party's candidate is a guarantee that all-round development will be brought to the area as well as other parts of the state.
On the 21st is what? The D-Day, where we will vote bad government out. Please, on that day, come out and defend your vote. No shaking. Next governor, who will speak by action, who will not do MOU, and who will not deceive you. The one and only distinguished Senator Monday Okpebolo.
The APC candidate maintains it is his intention to ensure the future is bright for the people of the state through the provision of quality education and security, among others.
Thank you. A new Edo is rising. Our hope will be rekindled after 21st of September. In under 1 year, our roads will be motorable. We are going to build primary health care centers in all our 190.
The APC campaign team also reached out to supporters and party members from wards 1 to 4 in Auchi earlier in the day, ruling out the candidate's manifesto. Ward 5, South Ibie, and 6, 7 and 8 in Agbede were the other wards visited as the APC campaign train traversed Esako West local government area on Monday, soliciting support for its candidate.
Away from politics now, the winners for the 2024 edition of the Nigerian Liquefied Natural Gas NLNG Prize for Science have been announced. This year's prize, which attracts a $100,000 cash gift, is being awarded to a combined team of 3 academics, Enioko, an associate professor in chemical engineering, Olajide Otitoju, research associate, and Professor Mei Hong Wang, a professor of process and energy systems engineering. Chairman Advisory Board of the award, Professor Barth Naji, said the prize celebrates and recognizes those who find solutions to local and global problems.
What is happening here is not necessarily...
After months of work, the advisory board and judges of the NLNG-sponsored Nigeria Prize for Science, as well as the management of the Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas Limited, are set to recognize the winners.
Or gas that you just find and you can't do anything.
The recipients are being rewarded with $100,000 prize money after being selected from a pool of 151 initial entries and later pruned down to 51 who met the criteria of the NLNG's annual prize for science.
What the Nigeria Prize for Science does first is to recognize where innovation has happened and how it impacts us. If it is positive, if it is scalable, we go for it. We recognize those who have done it, in this case, the work itself. And secondly, what it will do to the environment. So I think the two other stages are advocacy and how industry can be mobilized to take advantage of this piece of work in order to benefit Nigeria and benefit Nigerians.
Chairman of the advisory board, Professor Barth Naji, notes that the NLNG Prize for Science initiative has contributed to the development of science in the country.
What NLNG did in establishing this prize is to say, wherever technology is developed but solves Nigeria's problem, then it's okay. Just imagine if malaria cure is developed in China, but we can use it here. It's something.
This season, successful individuals came up with a solution that will help in reducing the ozone layer depletion through their work tagged Intensification Technology for Greenhouse Emission Control in the Power Generation Industry for Sustainable Fuel Production.
Reduction in carbon in the atmosphere, very, very important. Cleaner diesel by industry. I was Minister of Industry, and I know that if the diesel is reduced, forex will be reduced. You know the rate of exchange now. And it will stimulate investment, and there will be job creation.
Collection of entries began in February 2024 and closed in April. The selection was done through a rigorous process embedded with integrity, which has characterized the yearly award for excellence in scientific works for the last 2 decades.
Well, still ahead on the news at 10, the Center for Promotion of Private Enterprise questions NNPCL's delay in lifting petrol from Dangote refinery. That's in business news. Please stay with us. You're still watching the news at 10, live on Channels Television. Let's now head back to Lagos for Ayo for the rest of the news.
Thank you so much, Terry. A one-stop financial institution is now open in the heart of Ikeja by 2 financial institutions, Citygate Global Investment Limited and Empire Trust Microfinance Bank. The Group Managing Director of Citygate Global Investment Limited and the Chairman of Empire Trust Microfinance Bank, Mr. Seun Durojaye, says Empire Building is a strategic location that will provide easy access for its customers and also attract more people to have access to loan to run their businesses.
What you see on your screen is the headquarters of Empire Trust Microfinance Bank and Citygate Global. Both companies are registered money lending organizations working together and have opened shop at Oba Akron, Ikeja.
And in the name of the Son, amen. And in the name of the Holy Spirit, amen. God bless you for witnessing this wonderful event. Yes.
Top management of the sister organizations unveiled the new edifice and takes a tour of the building. After the tour of the facility, invited guests settled down to listen to the journey of Citygate Global Investment Limited, which started in 2007, and that of Empire Trust Microfinance Bank, which commenced operations in 2014.
This new headquarters is a powerful symbol of the solid foundation upon which the Empire Trust Microfinance has been built. It represents the strength, the stability, and the forward-looking vision that will guide the bank as it continues to serve the financial needs of our communities.
Next, the chief executive officers of the two financial institutions highlight what they hope to achieve going forward.
Our SME loan offers flexible terms and competitive interest rates, providing businesses with the financial leverage they need to grow, innovate, and create more jobs.
Your rates that you want from those 100 million or 200 million, those association funds, our rates are competitive and we will meet you at the point of your need.
The Group Managing Director of Citygate Global Investment Limited is excited about the unveiling of the headquarters and speaks briefly about what binds Empire Trust Microfinance Bank with Citygate Global.
After working hard for 5 years exactly, we were buoyant enough to have a microfinance bank, and we applied to the CBN for the microfinance bank license. And in 2014, 2 years after, we got the license. Citygate Global have really gone far. We started with only one branch in Lagos, but as of now, we have about 42 branches nationwide.
The company says there's more to come for its existing and soon-to-be customers.
We are going to redefine microfinance banking in Nigeria, as we are going to take the business to the next level. We are going to provide quality service to all our numerous customers in various sectors, and especially in the small and medium-scale enterprises. We are going to be able to fund them and provide liquidity to support their business.
Empire Building is a 7-story building, energy independent, with a basement parking space ready to redefine microfinance banking in Nigeria and globally.
Time now for some business news with Will Ibom. Will.
Banking so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thank you, Ayotunde. The Chief Executive Officer of the Center for Promotion of Private Enterprise, Dr. Muda Yusuf, is asking why, about a week after commencement, the NNPCL is yet to begin offtake of premium motor spirit PMS from Dangote refinery. Dr. Yusuf says it becomes even more worrying if reports about imports of PMS is still being done. Dr. Yusuf was a guest on Business Morning earlier today.
What I do know from the announcement from Dangote is that they were ready, they have the products ready, and suddenly we saw that supply has improved. Where did the supply come from? Apparently, they have also gone to import again. Why should that be? I think something is not adding up. Something is not adding up, and I think we need to fix this in the interest of the economy and in the interest of the Nigerian people. Even if you want to reduce subsidy, it is easier to reduce subsidy when you are producing locally. You can monitor the transactions. The integrity of the process can easily be monitored. And now that the government has offered to sell the crude in Naira, the landing costs should be much lower. So there's a whole lot of advantage for us to latch on to stabilize this economy. So I think maybe higher authorities need to weigh in on this. That should be my take. Because the way it is, I'm not sure we can leave this very big issue only to the NNPC. I don't think so. The political leaders need to weigh in on this so that we can straighten things out.
And bouncing off last week's negative close, the domestic equities market resumed the second trading week with the index down by 0.24%. Ini John Mekwa tells us more.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the stock market report. Well, the NGX has retained the negative sentiment it closed with on Friday, and it's because of Transcorp Power today. Transcorp Power was 335 naira 20 kobo at the opening of the trade, but at the close of Monday's trading, we saw it at 301 naira 70 kobo, losing 33 naira 50 kobo from each of its share price. Transcorp Power is the 6th most valuable stock on the NGX, having a market cap of about 2.51 trillion naira. So it's big enough actually to push the market into the red zone. Let's look at the sectors now. Banking, following Friday's trade, retained that green color, 0.68% at the close of trade. FBN Holding contributed to that. Consumers goods on the flip side. Dangote Sugar again experiencing some profit taking. International Breweries and PZ also followed suit. Oil and gas still shining at this time, 1.14% in the green. That's because of Owando again. Eternal Oil and Japol Gold cherry picking on them did bring that to that counter. But at the close of trade, 111 billion naira was shaved off this, leaving us with 55.283 trillion naira, while the oil share is still around 96 after losing 0.24%. So it's the very first day, trading day of the week. But we open up with the bear.
And that wraps up business news. It's back to you, Ayotunde.
The Princess of Wales has spoken of her relief at completing her course of chemotherapy in a highly personal video released by Kensington Palace. Catherine revealed in March that she was undergoing cancer treatment and has been out of sight of the public for much of this year. Here's Summer Pusey with more international news and around the world in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Vietnam's Deputy Prime Minister says a busy bridge in the north of the country has collapsed in the wake of a super typhoon Yagi, plunging 10 cars and 2 scooters into the Red River. At least 3 people have so far been rescued and 13 more are missing after the Pong Chau Bridge in Phu Tho province collapsed, Mr. Ho added. It is unclear if there have been any further deaths. Part of the 375-metre bridge is still standing and the military has been instructed to build a pontoon bridge as soon as possible. Yagi is Asia's most powerful storm this year and has killed at least 59 people since it made landfall in Vietnam on Saturday, bringing strong winds of up to 203 kilometres per hour. At least 16 people have been killed in Israeli airstrikes on a number of military sites in central Syria. That's according to the Syrian state news agency. Sana cited a health official as saying that another 36 people were wounded in the attacks in the vicinity of Masyaf in Hama province on Sunday night. A UK-based monitoring group reported that 25 people were killed and that the 5 targets included a scientific research centre allegedly linked to chemical weapons production. The Israeli military said it would not comment on foreign media reports of the strikes, which Syria's foreign ministry condemned as blatant aggression and Iran's foreign ministry called a criminal attack. Tanzania's President Samia Suluhu Hassan has denounced the brutal killing of a senior member of the main opposition party who was kidnapped, beaten and doused with acid. On Friday, Mohammed Ali Kibao was forced off a bus by suspected security agents while travelling from the country's biggest city. A post-mortem found that Mr. Kibao had been severely beaten and had acid poured in his face. President Samia condemned the brutal acts and called for an investigation into the murder. Protesters have blocked traffic in Tel Aviv in the continuation of demonstrations demanding the Israeli government do more to secure a deal to return the hostages held in Gaza. 11 months into the war, numerous rounds of diplomacy have so far failed to clinch a ceasefire deal to end the conflict and bring the release of Israeli and foreign hostages held in Gaza. Frustrations have spilled into the streets in the past week after 6 hostages were shot dead by Hamas, which saw thousands rallying to pressure the government on the issue. Several thousand people blocked roads near the Israeli Defense Ministry earlier, disrupting traffic in the center of the capital. More than 10,000 people are under mandatory evacuation orders due to a fast-spreading, uncontrolled wildfire in Southern California.
So I am currently on...
The line fire also threatens thousands of homes, businesses and other buildings in San Bernardino County, east of Los Angeles. The wildfire, which started on Thursday, spread rapidly overnight on Saturday, causing California Governor Gavin Newsom to declare a state of emergency. It is currently the 4th largest active wildfire in California after quadrupling in size on Saturday. Pope Francis has arrived in the East Timor capital Dili on the 3rd leg of his 4-country tour of Southeast Asia and Oceania. Francis arrived to a sea of enthusiastic crowds after spending several days in Papua New Guinea. The streets were electric with excitement as the pontiff's motorcade made its way through the throngs of cheering onlookers. The last papal visit to Dili was in 1989 when Pope John Paul II arrived in the territory then occupied by Indonesia. East Timor, which gained independence in 2002, has allocated $12 million for the Pope's visit, part of a marathon 12-day trip which began in Indonesia and will end in Singapore. Gun salutes have taken place around the UK to mark the 2-year anniversary of King Charles III's ascension to the throne. Here, guns firing in Hyde Park in central London. The date also falls on the 2nd anniversary of Queen Elizabeth II's death in 2022. Accession days are rarely a cause for celebration as they mark the death of the previous monarchs, but tributes are traditionally paid in the form of gun salutes. The King and Queen Camilla are staying at Balmoral in his Aberdeenshire estate in the Scottish Highlands, where his mother died at the age of 96 on September the 8th, 2 years ago. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. Super Eagles interim coach Augustine Eguavoin wants the team to stay focused as they confront Rwanda in Tuesday's 2025 African Cup of Nations qualifier at the Amahoro National Stadium in Kigali. Tuesday's encounter is the first of 4 battles between the Eagles and the Amavubi in the next 12 months, with the 2 teams to clash in November in Nigeria in the final round of the 2025 AFCON qualifying race, and then do a home and away in the 2025 FIFA World Cup race, with Rwanda also hosting Nigeria first in March next year. The game is scheduled for 2 p.m. Nigerian time. Nigeria's under-20 women's national team, the Falconets, face a tough test against Japan in the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup round of 16 knockout. The Falconets secured their place in the knockout stage with 2 wins from 3 games to set up Friday's clash against the Asians, which finished the group stage with a perfect record, winning all 3 of their matches while scoring an impressive 13 goals and conceding just 1. In the past meeting, Japan has had the upper hand, winning 2 of their 3 previous encounters with the Falconets. And that's Sports News. It's back to you, Ayotunde.
Thank you so much, Chris. And the main news again. The Department of State Services, the DSS, today arrested NLC President Comrade Joe Ajero as Labour condemned action and issued government a 12 midnight September the 10th deadline to release its detained leader. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. Have a good night. Please stay safe.